And welcome back. This, of course, is the #1 breakfast show right across the country. This is K24 This Morning. And for some people saying, man, I thought October would be over. A couple of more days to go, and we'll be done as far as that's concerned. Lots in store this morning. Karibu sana. Of course, we'll be jumping into the newspaper review in just a bit, but welcome aboard. My name is Jeff Mote.
A very good morning to you. Another brand new week. Here we are. My name is Shiko Kaitani. Karibu sana.
And my name is Mungala Mbuvi. Why are people worried about October ending or not ending? I mean, it's only the 28th. 3 more days to go.
You know, they're saying they had a long weekend. It's been so long. They thought by now it would be
long weekend? It was just Saturday.
No, the previous one, Mashuja. So like you had a long weekend coming through. You thought you'd have another one where Diwali wasn't made a public weekend.
Yes. By the way, we need to say a happy Diwali, or should we say belated? I don't know.
So happy Diwali to all the Diwali people out there. If you celebrate Diwali, whether you're from the Valley of Diwali, no?
No. It's too early in the morning and it's Monday movie.
All right.
You know,
I probably need coffee.
Lots of coffee, of course. Speaking of, even though it's Happy Diwali, of course, like I mentioned earlier, we look at the newspaper review on that particular section. Look at the big stories of the day, the intrigues as far as the BBI is concerned. Kibra campaigns also heating up. What does that mean, even as we move forward? Some violence are spotted right there. As far as the ANC leader, Musalia Mudavadi, is concerned, we'll be talking about that, of course, as we get into the review. Also, we get interactive this morning.
Before we do that, speaking of violence, I saw what Trump said about the ISIS leader. He died like a coward. Like, I mean, only
Trump did not get the political correctness 101.
Well, he did not. What? Okay, I remember when Barack Obama was in charge during the death of Osama. I mean, he came out and said, you know, Osama has been captured, killed, and he moved on like nothing.
Right. The address was completely different this time.
Like, he died like a coward. Anyway, do stand by because interactive again from 7:30 all the way till 8 is going to be talking about, all the trending stories for the last 48 hours. Everything that happened between Friday after tulitoka hapa hadi saini 6:04 a.m. We'll tell you everything that has been trending.
Okay, that happens right here. And then after that, we get up close and personal with one of Kenya's leading captains of industry. He's the CEO of Capital Real Time. He's also the vice chair of the World Chambers Federation. Kiprono Ketoni stops by. We talk about his journey from where he started up until now. And what keeps him going? He seems to have done it all. You know, he's gotten the successful businesses.
Right.
If you look at his resume, he's chairman of almost everything.
I know.
So what is he doing now? Where he's waking up this early in the morning to still get to work?
Yeah.
We talk about that, of course, as we get up close and personal on the show.
Yeah, he's one of those people who have like 9 lives, so to speak.
And 9 billion.
I know. And so, of course, after Up Close and Personal, we will be jumping into our social hour from 8 to 9. This time around, trying to demystify what the HPV vaccine is all about. If you're still not too sure what it does, if you're not sure what this hullabaloo about the HPV vaccine is all about, well, we are going to clear the air today on our social hour.
A very timely discussion to have. I mean, there's a lot of division coming from that. The Catholic Church, their doctors speaking from one script. Some imams also had come out against it, but Muslim doctors said that there's no problem.
Right.
So within the Muslim faith, there was an issue. And of course, the government already launched that vaccine a couple of weeks back. So lots of discussion, and you need to just clear the myths so that as you move forward, if you have a daughter, a sister, a neighbor, you know what exactly it entails. So that happens from 8 till 9 right here on the show. Lots to discuss. As always, this is where you get up and let us know how your morning tea, your morning coffee is so far. And what you've planned for the week. Tweet us at K24TV. You can also SMS us on 21222. We'll start by looking at your roads as always, and from there, get right into your newspaper review. Good morning.
Okay, so we are going to give you a heads up about what your major roads are looking like at this time. This, of course, being a couple of minutes past 6 a.m. Not expecting much on the roads, but it's always good to monitor through our satellite feed. And of course, we cannot do this alone. We always appreciate your feedback. And of course, any of the information that can be coming through or could be coming through our social media platforms, let us know how things are looking on your side of town. And we'll be happy to actually give it a heads up on our traffic watch. Speaking about those major routes, today we actually kick things off from right here at the Kenyatta National Hospital roundabout and make our way through Gong Road and see what it's looking like for those of you who are coming through Karen or coming from Dagoretti Corner, and of course the areas of Jamhuri. Well, let's see how the roads are looking for you if you're hoping to head to the CBD. Here we are making our way past Coptic, backing things up all the way to Junction Mall. Here we are at Prestige. siege as would be expected. A little bit of traffic, and that's because, of course, we've got the lights at this intersection that cuts right through the new road leading to Kibera and the road leading to Yaya Center. But so far, so good. When you see the yellow or orange line, as you'd put it, that actually means that, yes, there is traffic, but it's moving, so nothing major to report. We do know that Gong Road is still currently under construction, but of course the dual carriage is finally open, and of course that is progress if you ask me. Still need to be on the lookout for a number of diversions that are on Gong Road, but of course nothing major to report except for you to just exercise some caution as you make your way through Gong Road. And as you can see, it's green, meaning that the roads are absolutely clear at this particular time. Gong Road is actually notorious for just being back to back at around 7, 8 a.m. So this is a good time to start heading out. And as you can see, the red broken lines indicating that there is, of course, construction at this major roundabout, which is right outside Junction Mall. So please be on the lookout for that. And as you can see, right after the meteorological department, that's the road leading towards Karen, looking good so far. Let's cut through the dip, which is known as Kingara Road. For those of you who are familiar with this area, you know Kingara Road very well. And we make our way to the Gitanga Road junction. Okay, and this is because I want us to take a look at James Gishuru Road, another major route that has, of course, been one of our focus, or at least one of the areas that we focus on our traffic watch, and that's because it's a major link road between Gong Road and Waiyaki Way. So of course lots of buildings and of course institutions along James Gishuru Road. So as would be expected, there's a lot of traffic in and out of Lavington. As you can see here is the shopping mall. You've got a number of schools along this particular route and smack on the road. So as would be expected, you can find traffic very early in the morning, and of course rush hour at around 3 to 5 p.m. as people try to make their way to school to actually pick up the kids. And so as you can see at this particular time, James Gishuru is actually looking good. And here is this windy road making its way all the way to Waiyaki Way. Here we are, by the way, at the Muthangari police station. You can see it on the map. And we've made our way to the junction of ABC Place and the Westlands Road link, the brand new road that actually heads to Kitisuru, Peponi, and of course Westlands. It has become an amazing alternative route for those of you who are actually heading to that side. But here we are. I'm actually surprised at this particular time. It's quite clear there's always a snarl up at this particular junction because you've got traffic coming up from James Gishuru and of course traffic coming down Waiyaki Way. So of course, as you can see, it's one of those points that you definitely need to be on the lookout for. But speaking about Waiyaki Way, we're going to back things up to at least Mountain View area, Kino area, just to see how things are looking. I've already made my way past the Kangemi Soko, and here we are at Mountain View, Fiongo, and of course, right past that, you can see is Kabete Police Station. Green indicating that the roads are absolutely clear. Waiyaki Way is another route, by the way, that's currently under construction. And we always say, by the way, you've got to be careful if you're coming down or cruising down this highway. And that's because you will find quite a number of major diversions, especially excavation points, as they continue to widen the road. So please be careful. We have had quite a number of reports coming in about accidents on Waiyaki Way, and that's because visibility is quite poor, especially in the early mornings. So please be careful as you come down Waiyaki Way. But that being said, it's actually good to go. They Sodi Sodom, Watu wa Waroko, how are you doing? Things are looking good. And here we are at Nairobi School, making our way past ABC. And here we are at Lions Place in St. Mark's area, and we're making our way down to the museum. Look at that. It's beautiful. Green all the way, meaning the roads are absolutely clear. And here we are at the museum overpass and making our way to Thika Road very, very quickly to just see what things are looking like. It's not too good for those of you who are coming down Thika Road because as you can see, the line actually moves from an orange to a red to a deep red, indicating the traffic is already bumper to bumper. And this right here is the Pangani flyover. So as would be expected, traffic coming down from Thika Road, traffic coming from Kiambu Road, all actually, you know, meeting up at this particular spot so that at least people divert on their way to Westlands, others down to CBD into Ngara. So you can expect, of course, a little bit of traffic there, but it does open up, so nothing major to report. Just a little bit of patience, and of course, you shall make your way. So let's pass Muthaiga and pass Utali and back things up a little bit. Oops, apologies for that. So we can actually see what things are looking like for those of you who are, of course, around Thika Road. And so very, very quickly, let me make my way back to Thika Road. Okay. And here we are. Okay, I'm going to take us through Jogoo Road very quickly. But as you can see, my little map has made its way to Outer Ring, but it's fine, no problem. It doesn't harm to actually look at Outer Ring. And so here we are, and let's make our way back to Thika Road. Here we are at Allsops, also another key area to actually take a look at. As you can see, there's always traffic at this particular spot. Not good news for those of you who are around the Ruaraka post office, because as you can see, it's red, and even moves into a deep red. So of course, after you pass Garden City, you do need to look out for that, or at least expect that. But so far from Roysambu, it's green, and of course when you get to Allsops, that's where you find a little bit of traffic, but right after that it does open up, and then you can expect it yet again around the Pangani flyover. And that's how Thika Road is looking this morning. My map seems to be misbehaving at this particular time, but not to worry. What we shall do is continue to monitor those major routes for you, and of course continue to be our eyes and our ears on the roads. Let us know how things are looking on your side of town, and if you can, even send us a tweet pic. We'll be happy to actually put that up on our traffic watch. Jeff Mote is ready to take us through the newspaper review.
And a very good morning. Now that you know how the roads are looking this Monday, it's now time we look at the big stories of the day as we get ready for your day proper. Look at the front pages of the dailies and then jump into my panel and get right into the thick of things. As always, we start with the front page of the People Daily. Ruto goes grassroots in new campaign strategy. DP changes tack, spends more time in rural areas meeting ordinary citizens. That's the story they're talking about right there, the forays the DP is making as far as his political career is concerned. That makes the front page of the PD. But also in international news, ISIS leader died like a coward, says Trump. Fugitive al-Baghdadi, who had a 22.5 billion shilling bounty on his head, created caliphate in Iran, Syria. And of course, the details of that on page 15 of your People Daily this morning. Also, 3-day KCP examination set to start tomorrow. Over 1 million candidates go through rehearsals today in readiness for tests. Get all the details in your copy of the People Daily, excuse me. Let's move on now to the Standard. Front page of the Standard, BBI spells doom for tyranny of numbers. Panic grips Mount Kenya leaders as handshake threatens to take away variable that gave region edge in presidential poll. Number of constituencies, Mount Kenya got at least the least number of new units in 2012's mapping of the new boundaries. Rift Valley got the most at 27, followed by Western at 10, with Nyanza and Nairobi at 9 each. The leaders say Mount Kenya is underrepresented given its huge population. So even as we wait for what the BBI report will recommend, of course, people are already taking their positions to safeguard themselves just in case it doesn't go their way. Also on the front page of the Standard, Mudavadi stoned as Raila and Ruto storm Kibra. The details of that they're in your copy of the Standard. Front page of the Daily Nation, it's all about the intrigues of the president's men. Who's who in Uhuru inner circle of power? Insiders say President Kenyatta has reduced his lineup to a handful of people entrusted with specific roles to help him run the country in his last term in office. Philip Kamero, of course, head of the NIS, Fred Matiang'i, Samson Matete, Raila Odinga, Joseph Kenyua, Karanja Kibisho, Nancy Gitau, and Kinuthia Mbogwa, the president's men, so to speak. And the details of their roles can be found therein in your copy of the Daily Nation. Raila and Ruto go head-to-head in, of course, as far as these campaigns in Kibra are concerned. Of course, both of them at Lainisaba grounds yesterday campaigning, and the pictures right there of the crowds that were there. And, of course, the promises that were made. You can get details in your copy of the Daily Nation. Front page of the Star, Dwale BBI jibe kicks up storm in Mount Kenya. Moses Kuria terms Garissa MP's tirade against Central facade. As he had said, Central Kenya has no monopoly to presidency. And you can get the details of that right there in your copy of The Star. Then finally, front page of the Business Daily, high-tech KRA kit to track car property deals daily. Authority to match spending of wealthy Kenyans with their declared income and paid tax to unearth cheats. You can get the details of that in your copy of your Business Daily this morning. We look at the big stories of the day, of course, as we get through that. As always, we'd like to hear from you as well. You can tweet us at K24TV, or you can also SMS us on 21222. My panel almost fully in place. We'll be waiting for BenMulwa later on. We have Mark Bichachi.
Fully in place.
There's one space missing, so of course we shall have to feel that. We'll get
just saying
Nerima's
capacity has increased overnight.
Okay.
Yes,
and I can see once you walked in, there was a big smile on your face, Mark.
Of course.
Clearly.
Of course. She's a good friend. And have you seen how resplendent she's doing?
Mark Bichachi, political analyst right here. And Mark Bichachi is a ray of sunshine. She's also the executive director of Siasa Place, Nerima Wako. Good morning.
Morning.
I hope your weekend was well.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, fantastic stuff. Let's look at
You want to
some
add
of the
a date
stories.
to it?
I would have, but Matiangi doesn't allow me. I would have. I really would have, Mark. Let's look at some of the stories that we'll be talking about this morning. Let's look at the front page of the PD. Ruto goes grassroots in new campaign strategy. What's this fixation we have with the DP Ruto, with the fact that he still is the deputy president of the country? So if he decides to go to a county in a far-flung area, why do we look at that as campaigning and not the fact that he's on official duty being the principal assistant to the president, Mark?
Well, that assumes that the president's job is to campaign and hold rallies. Right. That's not in the nature of the job, unless you're Donald Trump, because that's the other guy who, after elections, kept going around the country and campaigning. We must understand that as a principal assistant of the president has stated what his agenda is, and he has stated that political rallies are not one of his things.
Then why do we still have such headings?
Yes, so the reason why we have this fixation is because every time Ruto does it, he seems to go against Uhuru, and that's why there's a fixation. If the president had said candidly that, listen, I want him to go around the country holding campaigns, then he would have been fulfilling his job as a principal assistant.
Let me jump right there, Mark, because also we do remember even the reason this whole Tanga came up was from the president.
Yes,
he was the one who said, my deputy will be in your areas, akitanga vitongojini, vichochoroni.
Do you remember?
And that's what he said, so he's carrying out his mandate.
Do you remember this year when there was an Akorino function and what the president said? Okay, so we can't mix the two issues, but also let's consider what he said. For example, yesterday was an article that said that there is a promise to the people of Kibra that if Mariga is elected, certain things will be done for them. So you must ask yourself the question, as a sitting deputy president, why isn't he doing those things anyway? Right. Why are they qualified against the campaign of Mariga? And that's what makes it into a campaign. And we need to be very careful as a country, and I'm not choosing sides here, that I think we are headed in very dangerous grounds if we keep campaigning for campaigning's sake, if we keep seeking power for power's sake. Because the truth is, the best campaign any sitting government, any sitting leader can do is actually get work done. When we find ourselves in rally after rally, that tells us who's doing the work. And I'll tell you what I mean. To organize a rally is not a mean feat, okay? You need to mobilize security, you need to mobilize people to show up, you need to mobilize a stage, a podium, and protocol, and all of those things. It is no mean feat. Now, would that energy be better used planning out and sorting out the actual development in this country? Because I'll tell you, you do not need a political rally here where we are in the CBD to know what the people of the CBD need. You don't need to hold a political rally in Kisumu to know what the people in Kisumu need. Right. And one of the things that we need to get done in this country is we actually need to get work done. And I'm telling Kenyans for free, the more campaign rallies we are doing, the less work we are doing, because the more we are focusing on 2022 as though it's the be-all and end-all of everything. If you ask most Kenyans whether 2022 as a September, they'll tell you no, because August is the only time that matters. We've decided that there is no 2020, there's no 2021, and therefore we are merging all our expectations into this one particular date, and that's quite dangerous.
Nerima, let me have you come in on this as well, because we're looking at a point where it almost seems like this country, when you look at the headlines, if DP Ruto isn't there, and he said it himself, he's not on a headline, the paper isn't selling, the paper isn't moving. Is he unfairly targeted? Do you feel like too much attention being put on this one individual?
Well, he is our deputy president, and he would receive a lot of attention. Sometimes the headlines do seem to be...
Probably even more than his boss in terms of attention.
This is true, it's true, but he's also more active. There was a moment where we were wondering whether our president was in the country or not, where he just went mute. But we always see our deputy president, we see him campaigning, we see him on the ground, we see him in different communities. He travels a lot, and I was even surprised to see him that he traveled to Kibra.
Right.
Yeah,
and
yesterday.
Let's actually even talk about that, because as the Kibra by-election heats up, of course, this is for November the 7th. We spoke about the fact that we are coming off the backdrop of, a handshake that was supposed to bring unity between everybody as we get into this. But looking at the first by-election coming after that, and clearly it seems like that unity and that handshake was for two individuals, as they usually say nowadays, kwa ground vitu ni different. We've seen what has happened with Mariga's car being stoned. Yes. Mudavadi also experienced a bit of violence going on right here. It's been taken to the IBC. What is going on as far as this handshake is concerned? And of course, the little experiment that we have with Kibra versus the handshake.
But that's not the first by-election. There have been two others. Yeah, one in Nyanza and the other one here in Nairobi. So it's not quite accurate to say it's just been one by-election.
But those are the ones they did agree.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yes.
By the time they went to
there was an agreement, but
they knew who was going to be vying for it.
But there was a celebration within Jubilee when Sumra was beaten. And there was a celebration within Jubilee when David won in Nyanza.
But this is the first one. They're actually going head to head.
No, I'm trying to tell you something, and I beg you listen. You see, the handshake created Jubilee A and B. So it depends on which Jubilee. Because the Jubilee for Rachel Shebesh says something very different about the Kibra by-election. Right.
And the Jubilee, the back door.
And the Jubilee for Maina Kamanda says something very different from the Jubilee of Tanga. You understand? So did the Tanga Jubilee ever have a handshake? No. Let's just be very clear. No.
Right.
The brigade has been clear on being anti-handshake from day one, by the way, if you remember correctly. So this is nothing different. If you engage Jubilee A, you will get different results, and if you engage Jubilee B, you will get very different results. And that's what Kenya must be alive to. That for as long as you've got the Oscar Sudis of the day and the minor commanders of the day, then Jubilee is not speaking from one choral sheet. It's not singing from the same hymn sheet. And therefore, to say that the handshake is not working, well, the handshake is working for 50% of Jubilee, and the other 50% it's not working.
And 100% of ODM.
Oh, yes.
It's working.
Yeah.
So
It's
that
working 100% for ODM. 100%. In fact, let me tell you, if you were to ask an ODM guy about the handshake and about the president's Big Four agenda, they are on point, by the way. You know, it's almost as if ODM did not campaign against the president. But if you ask Jubilee B, that's where the conundrum is.
And as you can see, Jubilee and Jubilee B factions, even as we go into Kibra, we have a situation where Maina Kamanda is supporting an opposing candidate. Nothing has been done in terms of bringing him back to the party to have him toe the party line. We look at the handshake and we look at this particular by-election where they've decided to forward candidates. Will it really hold once we move forward and the report comes out? Because they're supposed to be speaking essentially from one, voice as a party, but it doesn't look like this will happen.
For the report to even work, political goodwill needs to be there, but first of all, there needs to be some form of unity. Without it, it will not work at all. And I think that's why there's even a delay. And quite frankly, there's no way that they can release that report during this moment right now. Because we are so focused, like when we look at our newspapers, the people daily showing the two different pictures side by side, and we see the large masses of people. So at the moment, quite frankly, Kibra, we're not sure which way it's going to fall. A lot of people are assuming, but we also need to recognize the door-to-door campaigns that they're doing. This is a strategy that they have emphasized. We've hardly seen them in television interviews. In fact, there are none. When we talk about Mariga or Wallo sitting down together and saying, this is what my policies are. We have not seen that. And they're saying...
Some of them, I'm told, can't have an interview, but continue.
Because they cannot conversate.
Yes, apparently.
That is sad and scary.
A leader might need to communicate at one point. You know?
No. You know, let me tell you, there are people who run for a job whose job description is to talk, and they can't talk.
Before we go into our first break right now, I want to ask one question, because we're looking at a picture where we have Raila Odinga right there, campaigning, and we have Deputy President William Ruto as well, former PM, saying that if you won't do it for Imran, vote for me. As they go to the polls, and however this goes, are we looking at the fact that this actually will show the type of popularity these two leaders have, and not even the actual candidate on the ballot on that particular day? Is it between Raila Odinga and Ruto when it comes to Kibra?
Sadly, that's the way they're framing it, because even when you look what the quote says, Raila Odinga says, I am here to tell Luyas that we have fronted Imran. And so we're talking about the blocks, the very thing that BBI is supposed to be curing, that they are leading. Here we are perpetuating it. Right. And it's worrying because now we're looking at individuals, and then we're trying to have tribes following a particular individual, not necessarily talking about what we're going to be able to bring to Kibra, because frankly, the Prime Minister has been involved in Kibra for decades. Right. And so can he say anything new that he's going to bring into the community? And we also know before a Member of Parliament, Ken Okoth, passed away, we understand how difficult it was for him to even remain in Kibra. Right. And even considering that initially he was almost debating whether he'll be able to run within the ODM ticket because of Prime Minister's daughter. And so we can see that there's a lot of individualism. And sadly, the leaders who are supposed to be going against that are the ones who are pushing that very agenda. And me being a Luya, it even makes me wonder, why would I think to vote for somebody because of my tribe? Right. Because of my tribe.
And of course, that's what Raila Odinga is appealing to right there. 30 seconds mark as you get into this particular break. However this goes as the polls happen, who wins, what happens with the loser? Because you have a situation where once Raila has come and put his all right there, if this doesn't go his way, if his candidate doesn't get this, in terms of influence, what does that mean for him moving forward after this particular by-election?
The influence of William Ruto and Raila Odinga will not move an inch after Kibra,
regardless of how this goes.
Regardless of how this goes, because of the core support that they have, and that's not going to move. And because this core support is antagonistic to each other, then the stronger the other one gets, the more vociferous and passionate the other side gets. So it's not going to change the support base. It will, however, perhaps influence how we think of who's going to be stronger moving into 2022. That's what's going to be probably change. Okay, we're going to take a short break at that particular point. Of course, we want to hear what you have to say as far as this story is concerned. Tweet us at K24TV. You can also SMS us on 21222. We're back with more, of course, tomorrow. KCPE kicks off national exams on that particular one. Let's talk about that after the break. This is K24 This Morning.